As our plane ascended towards Bali, my heart raced with excitement and uncertainty. This wasn't just a honeymoon, it was a desperate attempt to escape Riley's control, a gamble that could either save our marriage or tear it apart. I had always envisioned married life as an adventure, a shared journey with David, the love of my life. We met through a mutual friend, and I was immediately drawn to his maturity and charm. It didn't take long for me to fall deeply in love with him. After 3 wonderful years together, we tied the knot just as I was approaching my 30s, ready to embark on what I hoped would be our happily ever after. Our demanding careers left little time for vacations, so our long-awaited honeymoon kept getting postponed. We dreamed of Bali, the beautiful Indonesian island known for its lush landscapes and tranquil beaches. Planning our honeymoon was a joyful escape, imagining ourselves immersed in Bali's natural beauty. It became our shared project, a ray of hope amidst our busy lives. However, lurking in the background was Riley, my mother-in-law. At 63, Riley was a dominant force in our lives. Divorced when David was young, she had raised him on her own, a fact that David respected deeply. Since his first paycheck, he had supported her financially, a support that had somehow evolved into a tight hold over him. Her overbearing presence in our lives was stifling. Every weekend, she would invade our home, not to help, but to care for her son. "David likes his shirts folded this way," she'd say, rearranging our closet as if she lived there. At first, I admired her devotion, but it soon became clear that she was using it to maintain control over David, and by extension over me. I tried to be patient, thinking it was just maternal instinct, but as weekends turned into endless intrusions, my patience wore thin. Her presence created an invisible tension, a quiet struggle for control within our home. My attempts to compromise were met with subtle criticisms. "Delilah, David doesn't like his food prepared this way," she'd say, taking over the kitchen. Her comments, wrapped in disdain, left me feeling inadequate, like an outsider in my own home. David, caught in the middle, seemed oblivious to the growing strain. His loyalty to his mother was unwavering, and his inability to confront her only frustrated me further. I felt isolated, watching my dream of a happy marriage fade as Riley's influence over David and our home grew stronger. It was in these moments of frustration that I realized something had to change. I couldn't let Riley's dominance destroy everything David and I had built. Our honeymoon in Bali wasn't just a vacation, it was our chance to reclaim our happiness, a break from Riley's overwhelming presence. But soon, I would learn that our dream getaway was about to face its greatest obstacle. As the weeks passed, it became clear that Riley's influence was tightening, especially over David. Her visits, always filled with harsh critiques, were suffocating our relationship. "Delilah, David likes his coffee this way," she'd remark, her tone dripping with condescension. It felt as though she was trying to paint me as the incompetent wife, unworthy of her son's affection. Her presence, once merely annoying, had become oppressive, casting a dark cloud over our marriage. David, for his part, seemed unaware or unwilling to acknowledge the toll his mother's interference was taking on our relationship. One evening, I finally found the courage to speak up. "David, we need to talk about your mother," I said, my voice trembling with frustration and fear. He listened quietly, his face a mask of resignation, as I explained how her constant criticism and constant intrusions were wearing me down. "It's as if she's still trying to parent you, and it's suffocating us." To my surprise, David nodded, a flicker of understanding in his eyes. "I'll talk to her," he said. But his words didn't offer much hope. There was no conviction in them, no strength to challenge his mother. Our Bali honeymoon became a beacon of hope amid the chaos. The idea of walking along serene beaches, exploring lush forests, and immersing ourselves in a vibrant new culture was the escape we both desperately needed. But just as we were starting to dream of this perfect getaway, reality struck hard. "I've been thinking, and I've decided to join you on your honeymoon," Riley casually announced one evening. Her words hit me like a punch in the gut, and the sheer audacity of her suggestion left me speechless. Our honeymoon, our time together, was now under siege. I looked at David, hoping for some sign of protest, but all I saw was confusion, a man torn between loyalty to his mother and responsibility to his wife. The silence that followed was deafening, a painful reminder of Riley's hold over us. That night, as David and I lay in bed, I began to hatch a plan. "We can't let her do this, David. This is our time," I whispered, my voice filled with newfound determination. David, usually hesitant and conflict-averse, surprised me. "I agree. We need to handle this carefully." His voice, usually so gentle, was filled with a rare resolve. It was clear to both of us. If we were to save our honeymoon and our marriage, we had to stand firm. The next morning, we sat down at the kitchen table to strategize. Our kitchen, normally a place of light conversation and the smell of brewing coffee, had transformed into a war room. "We can't let her ruin this," I said, my voice resolute. "Bali is for us, not her." David, ever the peacemaker, nodded. "We'll have to be smart about this." We devised a simple yet bold plan. We would let Riley think everything was proceeding as originally planned, while secretly preparing for a honeymoon that would truly belong to just the two of us. In truth, we had secretly altered our plans, leaving and returning earlier than we had originally told Riley. The deception felt necessary, a small act of defiance against the stranglehold she had on our lives. As the days passed, we quietly executed our plan, making sure Riley wouldn't catch wind of it. We booked flights and accommodations with care, ensuring that our paths wouldn't cross with hers in Bali. When the day of our departure arrived, I felt a mix of excitement, guilt, and above all, freedom. Riley waved us off with a smug smile, completely unaware of our scheme. As the plane ascended, I leaned close to David and whispered, "This is it. Our real journey begins now." Bali turned out to be everything we had hoped for and more. The vibrant culture, stunning landscapes, and peaceful beaches provided a much-needed balm for our tired spirits. For the first time in months, I saw David truly relax, the weight of stress lifting from his face. We explored ancient temples, savored the local cuisine, and lost ourselves in the beauty of the island. Each day in Bali felt like a step toward reclaiming our marriage, with our bond growing stronger with every shared adventure. But as our return date approached, the reality of facing Riley and the fallout from our deception loomed. We braced ourselves for the storm that was sure to come. When we got back, the silence was deafening. Riley, who should have been enjoying her own time in Bali, was conspicuously absent. The house, once filled with her presence, felt unexpectedly peaceful. It didn't take long for the storm to break. Riley came back, her fury impossible to contain. "How could you deceive me? You left me all alone in Bali." Her voice was filled with betrayal and anger. It was hard to believe this was the same woman who had smugly waved us off, thinking she had outsmarted us. David, standing firmly beside me, finally spoke up. "Mom, you crossed a line. Our honeymoon wasn't about you." His words were calm but firm, signaling a shift in their relationship. Riley's face twisted with rage, but beneath the anger, I saw something else. Understanding. The realization that her son was no longer the boy she could manipulate, that her actions had consequences. In the following days, an uneasy peace descended over our home. Riley's visits became rarer, her criticisms less sharp. It seemed that our rebellious move in Bali had shifted the dynamics of our relationship. For David and me, Bali had been more than a honeymoon. It was a journey of rediscovery, a testament to the strength of our bond. We had faced our greatest challenge yet and emerged stronger and more united. As I look back on our experience, I realize that sometimes it takes a bold stand to break free from the chains that bind us. Our story is one of love, not only for each other but for the life we chose to build together, free from the shadows of the past. After our trip, our home felt different, lighter. The oppressive weight that had once hung over it had lifted. The atmosphere was brighter, the conversations more carefree. Riley's once tight hold on our lives had loosened, giving us the space we desperately needed. I watched as David transformed. The man who had once avoided confrontation now stood taller, his words carrying more weight. His conversations with Riley were firm yet respectful, drawing clear boundaries. It was as though Bali hadn't just been a getaway, but a rite of passage, a journey from being her son to being my partner. Riley's visits became less frequent, her presence less commanding. The change was gradual but undeniable. Where once there had been control and criticism, there now seemed to be a cautious respect. It was as if our time in Bali had been a wake-up call, a reminder that her son's loyalty was now shared, For me, the shift was profound. The house that had once felt like a battleground had become a sanctuary. I found joy in the little things, cooking a meal without fear of judgment, planning our weekends without the looming shadow of Riley's presence. Our marriage, once strained by her expectations, now thrived in the freedom we had fought for. Our relationship with Riley, too, found a new balance. There was a quiet peace, an unspoken understanding that we could coexist without overstepping boundaries. She was still David's mother, and I respected that, but she was no longer the dominant force in our home. Looking back, I realized that Bali wasn't just a destination, it was a turning point. It taught us the power of unity, the strength that comes from standing together. Our love, tested by the challenges Riley unknowingly threw our way, came out stronger and more resilient. Life has a way of teaching us lessons in unexpected ways. Our journey with Riley was one such lesson, a reminder that standing up for what you believe in can lead to a more harmonious life. David and I learned the importance of boundaries, of protecting our relationship. We discovered that true strength lies not in compliance, but in the courage to confront and resolve. Our marriage, once overshadowed by Riley's dominance, now stood on a foundation of respect and mutual understanding. We also saw a change in Riley. The realization that her son had grown into a man with his own life seemed to soften her. A grudging respect began to emerge in her interactions with us. Perhaps, in her own way, she had also undergone a process of letting go. As David and I look toward the future, we do so with renewed hope. Our journey has been challenging, but worthwhile. We've learned that together we can face anything. The situation we endured is a testament to the power of love and unity. It's a story of emerging from darkness and finding light. And as we move forward hand in hand, we know that no matter what lies ahead, we will face it together. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you again in the next video. Stay stunned.